because you don't get taught about the roles in TV and what there is behind the screen. So being brought there really was an eye-opening moment for me.
Welcome to another edition of Elle Talks. Today I'm with Jess. Jess, can we get right into it? And can you tell us about your role at Banijay?
So I work at Kudos as the production coordinator. Kudos has done shows like House of Guinness, Grantchester and SAS Rogue Heroes. And I work very closely with the production and post-production team and our freelance teams on all our shows.
I'm guessing with the Peaky Blinders at the moment, you've been very busy.
Yes, very busy with that one at the moment, yeah.
Would you be able to describe a bit more about your role within Kudos, like what you do on a day-to-day?
Yeah, of course. So before we go into the production stage, it's sort of prepping everything for it. That can be sort of doing availability checks, finding the producers, line producers. And then once we go into the green light and start shooting, it's working with the freelance team, sort of making sure that they have everything from their, like, that they need from their side, that sort of, you know, making a Kudos show, following Kudos and the Banijay's sort of structure and policies, and just assisting them in their day-to-day running.
Was there a moment that really shaped your career so far?
I would say in the job that I was doing before this, I was working at Wild Mercury, and my boss knew that I wanted to get a little bit more into production, and we were shooting a show up in Edinburgh, and he sent me there for 2 weeks to sort of get really engaged, immersed in that production, and that really was sort of like a moment for me where I realised my love for production.
And what was the kind of the show that you were working on?
The Rig series one.
Yeah. Nice.
And it was in lockdown as well, so everything was shut down, and it was a very different time.
And who would you say, or what moment, I guess you kind of mentioned in terms of that moment being working on that show, but would you say was the biggest influence in terms of getting you into like continuing to work in TV, and you discovered that you had a real passion for it?
So I came in from working in the music industry, so I didn't study TV at all at uni, and I worked in music, and I knew someone that worked at Kudos. They brought me over for an interview to start as a runner there, and that's where I sort of got opened up to this whole new world that I didn't really know existed, because you don't get taught about the roles in TV and what there is behind the screen. So being brought there really was an eye-opening moment for me, and sort of made me realise how much I loved working in TV.
And what would you say would be the advice that you still need to hear yourself? Something that you kind of are always kind of on the lookout for. And what would you say is the advice that you give to others?
Probably to put yourself in situations that might scare you, but might push you as well. Like for me for today, I suppose, sort of, because only positive things are going to come from that, and confidence is going to grow, and you're going to meet new people and expose yourself to new and exciting opportunities. So really do push yourself sort of into your unknown, I would say.
And is there a moment that in your career that felt that you were taking kind of a risk, or was there a challenging moment that you felt that you needed to overcome?
Probably making that jump from the role I was in my company before to now. I'd been at that company for around 7 years and really, really loved working there, and I loved my team. But sort of forcing myself into something new, into my role here, that was a really, really scary step, but it sort of pushed my career forward. So I think that for me was just like a really terrifying moment, to have to sort of leave something that you felt so happy and comfortable in to allow that progression.
Was it a completely different role, or was it just
completely different role? And yeah, that sort of really did. It was terrifying at the time, but sometimes you just got to force yourself into those situations.
Yeah, and in the end, then you've really grown and progressed your career, so it must make all the difference. And I guess now more of like the fun questions, but have you ever thought about being a contestant on a show, and maybe a Banijay show?
Banijay show, I'll probably say even though I'd find it terrifying, Big Brother.
Okay.
I just think it's such an exciting social experiment, and I'll be quite interested to see how I would do in that.
Would you like to be locked up in a house?
I don't know. I mean, we all did it in lockdown.
True.
But I think this thing, it's just so exciting to see sort of how you change and how different you are in certain situations.
And if you could swap roles with anybody, either within or outside Banijay, what would it be?
I'd probably say someone in development. I would be awful. I'm so dyslexic. But I think it would be really interesting to see a completely different side of my job. And because in production, you get the projects sort of when the script's written and sort of the idea of the show. And it'll be really interesting to kind of see that's the process before that.
And I'm guessing, yeah, with in terms of upcoming productions, well, we discussed Peaky Blinders,
Yes,
but
yes.
are there any others that are coming up that you're excited about?
Not that I can say at the moment, I'm
It's like a
afraid.
secret
We've
for
got a
now.
few things that are exciting, but I can't say just yet.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye out
Yes,
then.
definitely.
Perfect. Well, Jess, thank you so much for joining us today.